Welcome to the Dateable AF podcast, because women dating women is wild, wonderful, and occasionally a disaster. I'm your host, Dr. Sarah Kyle, a therapist in private practice.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Howell, researcher extraordinaire.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dateable AF podcast. Can you believe we're already at the end of season 2?
I can't. I really can't.
It's gone fast. So today we are going to be talking to you about mistletoe and minefields, navigating the holidays with your partner. The holidays have a magical way of turning perfectly functional couples into tense coworkers trying to survive a group project.
Ho, 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 and bah humbug is all up in there.
Yes, absolutely. And so I think there are lots of reasons why couples struggle around the holidays. I know that my therapy practice tends to be really full this time of year. It's a tense time of year. But we want to let you know that we have some tips to help you navigate the holidays. And we also want you to know that holiday stress does not mean that your relationship is broken. So we're going to talk to you today about how to stay connected. Not how to stay perfect, but how to stay connected during all this stress of the holidays.
Let's let our listeners know that we are wrapping up our second season. And so this will air on Thursday. It'll be the end of our episode 2. And then we'll be taking a holiday and we'll begin season 3 in the beginning of the new year.
Yes, the beginning of 2026, we will be coming to you with some new material and some new ideas. We're going to have some changes in 2026 that we're excited to let you know about next episode.
Yeah, we're going straight. Sarah and I going straight. Oh, that sounds terrible.
There's a little teaser for you right there. Oh, but anyway, maybe that'll keep you tuned in until next time. Meanwhile, though, let's talk about these upcoming holidays. Rachel, why do you think the holidays tend to be so hard on people's relationships?
Man, I mean, one is you have more time together. Most of the time you're taking time off. So with your person, you probably are spending a little bit more time with them than what you usually do.
Yeah.
And I think, and then the big one is that you're immersed with family in ways that you usually are not. And that's, you're pushed with family and more, you're spending more time with them. And,
yes.
And your person's family, potentially, if it's not just you, you have their family too. And those visits can last a little longer and they're very focused.
Yes. I think when you're with your family of origin, like all of us tend to drop back into some old patterns and old roles that we used to be in with those people. And I think that can cause some stress with our partners. I mean, yeah, like you said, just that more time together, the time is really compressed. And yeah, spending time with family. I also think that we tend to have expectations around the holidays, whether those are conscious or subconscious, that we have expectations about traditions, about time, about gift giving, about money, like how we're going to buy gifts or who we're buying gifts for. I think there's more travel a lot of times around the holidays. So I just think there are lots of reasons why this time can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, I know that my mother still, when I'm with her that much in the holidays, she does try to boss me back around, and then I respond to it in the ways I used to when I was a little kid.
You become a rebellious teenager.
I used to, I'd go out and buy a bunch of Snickers bars and eat them just because I can or something.
Right before the big turkey dinner that she cooked for you.
Right. Yeah. I laugh because I used to have this. I never had a bunch of Snickers bars. It's not my thing, but I had this recurring dream when I was young that I wanted a Snickers bar and I would wake up crying because my mom wouldn't let me have a Snickers bar, which I think now as an adult, when I think about that dream, a direct correlation to how much she was trying to control me. And so, so no, actually, she's very good. She minimizes that. But I do think that for sure, the travel and money is also really big. I mean, traveling personally, I try not to travel much during until after Christmas because it is so stressful and it's crowded and it makes you cranky and everybody's supposed to be real cheery and happy.
Yep. I agree. And it's funny because I've heard more people this year talking about postponing travel till after the holidays. So they're telling their family that lives elsewhere, hey, I'm going to come see you, but I'm just going to wait till January when the crowds have died down and the fares have gone down. And I think that makes so much sense. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not for everyone, but I think it's a good option.
I think so too. And also there's the idea of the money. And if you're traveling, the expenses, especially if you're going to try to take the whole family, that's expensive. And what I love is it's just a great food for thought as you listen to this podcast is, are these things situational? Do they really need to be looked at as, oh my God, my relationship's on the rocks? Or do we normalize these things a little bit and go, it's going to be a shit show right now. It's the holidays. This happens. And we need to just try to do a workaround or minimize.
Yes. I think that second thing is much healthier and much more helpful because this isn't a statement about the state of your relationship. It's seeing what happens in your relationship when times are really stressful. So when you are together more of the time, when you are spending more time with family, when you are spending more money than you usually would, I think there's also some attachment stuff that comes in because if you are more anxiously attached, you want closeness during the holiday. And if you're more of an avoidant attachment style, you want space and you might not be getting that during the holiday. So, there's this pressure from society that the holidays are supposed to be so happy. And if you're not feeling happy, then you feel pressured, like something's wrong with you. And yeah, I think it's important to remember the holidays aren't creating these problems, but they are kind of revealing what you're made of. And so try not to take things too seriously. It's like this will pass.
I think it's great to think about it, maybe think in advance when you're entering these situations, sort of thinking in advance about old bad habits. I have seen more siblings going home, grown siblings who go and visit their parents, and then they all start doing the same stuff with one another that they did. So the middle child is, feeling like they don't have a voice, and the younger one's spoiled. And I haven't been in a room where I've heard siblings reenacting this stuff as grown individuals. Like, oh, Mom always liked you best, so you're probably going to get the last piece of pie,
Yep, absolutely.
Oh,
my siblings will say that to me. They'll be like, oh, you're the baby.
Oh, you are. And you were spoiled rotten.
But somehow I've become the most adult one now. So
yeah, that is. And let me just say, that is the God's truth.
I'm sure none of my siblings are listening to this podcast, so we're safe.
I wonder sometimes if you're being punished. I don't know.
Exactly. By the universe for being a baby all those years.
I guess. I don't know what you're talking about. Arrested Development.
Not mine, though. Not mine.
No, not yours. No, you were born into that. I think your father was the first one that shared that term with me. Arrested Development.
Arrested Development. Yep.
That was what he was showing me. His war pictures in the car.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Do we have to bring that up? Here's some pictures of me with some dead people. You're like, oh, my God, Dad, for the love of God.
It was dead people. He was real proud of it.
Oh, my God. All right. This is what I came from, y'all.
To our point.
Well, okay, to our point. So let's talk about some of the biggest minefields that couples that couples face over the holiday season. I think the first one that I see is figuring out that balance between family time, meaning extended family time, versus couple time. And whose family gets priority? Do we switch, go to my family one year and your family the next year? How much is too much? Like, I might love spending time with my family, but for you, it's too much. And so, we have to figure that out with our partners. How are we going to navigate that?
And especially if you both, sometimes couples, like one person really enjoys the other's family more than their own. And that's easier. But when you both have a vested interest at the sort of the same level, then again, don't wait until you're about to make a decision that day, or even just a week in advance of, okay, here we are, Christmas is here.
What are we going to do?
Right. Talk about it in advance, way in advance of it, so that you can actually have good conversation and you're not frustrated or feeling that holiday press on you.
Yes. Yeah. And I was going to comment on what you said earlier about sometimes you like one family more than the other, or one family's more fun. And I think there's also the situation where you don't really like either family that much, but you feel obligated to go. Not that I'm speaking from any experience or anything, but just saying, sometimes you don't really want to go to either family's holiday celebrations.
Oh my God, that is so true. Again, not because I've experienced it, but I know people that
I've heard this happening. Yes. Uh-huh. Well, the other thing I see in my practice with a lot of that creates a lot of stress around the holidays is money and gifts. I had a couple in my office recently that was fighting about how much money to spend on the kids, like on each kid for the holiday. And one partner had one idea about that, and the other partner had a completely different idea. And part of that is like what you value. I was talking to somebody within my family about that, about, the idea that you want your kid to have a pile of presents to open. And a lot of times they're just crap that's going to get discarded or given to Goodwill or, shoved in a closet. And is that really the best use of resources or the best value to teach your kid?
And I would challenge our listeners to think a little bit about this too, is that though our kids, and when they're young, I'm not saying that you don't want to give them gifts, and there's some special things in that's super exciting to wake up on Christmas morning or through Hanukkah and however you exchange gifts or whatever you do. But I also would challenge our listeners to the idea of sharing experiences. That is something that takes a little bit more effort oftentimes, but I feel is a lot more fulfilling, and it's less about material things than it is about being together. And
Yes.
I think if you have kids, I believe that kids, no matter how they act, they always actually value time with you more than they value the whatever
Material things. Yeah, I think that's true. And I agree that little kids who might still believe in Santa, or you're upholding that tradition, it's so fun for them to wake up on Christmas morning and have stuff under the tree to open. But as people get older, my family for the past handful of years has agreed that we're not giving each other material gifts, but we are doing experiences with each other, which has been really fun.
Mm-hmm. It is fun. Now we are OLD, and all of our children are very grown as well.
Yes.
So, and I don't know how many listeners we have out there that actually have smaller children. So anyway,
we got a few. I know we got a few.
But I remember what that was like back in the day.
Sure. And I think people have to really assess their own values. Like, are you teaching your kid to value quality items? Are you teaching them to value the quantity of presents that they're getting? And there's not a right or wrong answer, but I do want you guys to think before you just go out and spend a bunch of money. What is the value you want to communicate to your kid via this tradition of gift giving?
Well, there's something I thought about once we talked about this topic that's specific to our queer, lesbian, folk or our gay folks out there is this idea of whether or not, if you're dating somebody, are you in a place where you're actually going to go and do some of these things together?
Yeah.
Are you actually not there yet? And then I can see where if one person's thinking, I'm ready to meet your family, they're not ready for you to meet the family. And then also if one's out and one's not, that was my living hell. And so I think those things can also be very confusing and hard when you're not in agreement or in the same place.
Yes, definitely. Like, why is your roommate coming to Christmas with your family if you're not out? So yes, that can be really tricky. And I think it's also important to assess the meaning that you attach to that. If you're not bringing me home for Christmas, do I attach some meaning? You must not care about me. Or does my family assume that, if I bring my partner home that we're getting married, or, just thinking about what all we attach to that, because different people have different ideas around that.
Yeah, they do. And that's where I don't think one way is right and one way is wrong. I think you just have to be sure that if you're serious about somebody, that you can come to some agreement of either respecting the differences and maybe you're not ever going to share those things, or it's going to be a long time, or that it's not okay with you that you don't. And sort of like the being out.
Yes.
I don't ever believe in outing somebody, and I don't believe that somebody has to be out, but to partner with me, you need to be out.
Yes, for sure. Yep. And some of the things that you were bringing up, like when you bring someone home and like those things that we do around the holidays, a lot of times those are based in tradition. So what my family does, and do we bring other people in who aren't, technically a part of our family? Those traditions and expectations can sometimes create sort of a minefield for couples. What if my family opens presents on Christmas Eve and my partner's family always open presents on Christmas morning? How do we decide what we're going to do as a couple? And I think there's also this pressure to recreate our childhood magic. Like if you had a really magical Christmas, you might feel pressured to create that within your own household. And, that can become kind of a minefield.
Oh, yes. The other thing is that I just thought about is, what if I do believe that a lot, and I'm speaking again to our gay brothers and sisters out there, oftentimes I hear them as grown adults, my age, referring to going home as their parents' home, that they're calling their home. And they've been partnered with somebody, they own a home together, and all the rest of the year, they actually are in that home as an adult. But the minute that the holidays come around, or they're going to a vacation, going to see that they're going home. And
going to their parents' house.
Home to their parents. And there is also an expectation, I think, and I could be wrong about this. I should have done a little research on this now that I think about it, but about how much more gay couples tend to think that they're still going to their parents, and that their parents or whomever is going to supply the holiday, versus them becoming the home that everybody comes to for the holiday.
Oh, that's so interesting. I never thought about there being a difference between queer couples and straight couples on this, but because the way that that's worked in my family is that the oldest generation tends to take over the hosting. So, at one point my grandmother did it, and then she passed that along to my mom. And then when my mom got older, or when she passed away, then that tradition got passed down to us. And yeah, that is really interesting. I wonder if adult queer people still rely on their parents. That would be a great thing I need you to research that, and we'll come back to that.
Yes. And here's some other pieces to that. So oftentimes, queer gay couples don't have kids. A lot of us do or have, but a lot have not. And I believe that there is this expectation, unless you as the couple change it, there's this expectation that there's no reason for everybody to congregate at your house because you don't have kids. So you're not really doing the kid thing, and that you're still sort of not really a family in the family's mind, and y'all just need to come here where your real family is.
And that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I experienced that with my mother, and I had to specifically focus on changing that dynamic and saying, look, I'm happy to come and visit you before Christmas, or you can come and visit me before Christmas, or us if I had a family at the time. But on Christmas morning, I'm going to wake up in my house under my tree with my family.
Yeah. And how did your mom respond to that?
The first time I did it, it was really bad.
She didn't like that one bit, did she?
She didn't. But then I met this really saucy woman with children who was like, what? We are not going to do it that way. It's just, we'll just call her Monique or Veronica.
Monique and Veronica.
Who actually did reframe that for me and went, no, well, we can go see everybody, but we also have a family and a home where Christmas is going to happen, and anyone's welcome. They can come there, but we're not expected to be pawned out everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know if others have really thought about that, because I have a lot of friends who, as grown adults, never stop always splitting up and going to their families' houses. Or they'd go together and they'd go there, this one, then they'd go together and go to this one, but nobody ever came to their place.
That's interesting. And when you first started talking about it, I was kind of assuming that it was the queer couple that was sort of abdicating that responsibility and saying, yeah, not on us. We'll just go to our mom's house. But now that you've talked more about it, maybe it's also the parents expecting that the kids will still come there, even though they're adults. So that's really interesting. And I wonder how that falls out between straight couples and non-straight couples.
Yeah, well, I would love the listeners to weigh in on this, because I think it's a real thing, and I think it's both reasons that I kind of threw out there. I think it's both of those things, and sort of I wanted to sort of challenge our listeners to think about, hey, are you still doing that with your person, your significant other, your family? That's your family all the time, like your central partner.
Yes.
But then splintering off and doing this other thing as if that's not as important as everybody else's.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we would love for y'all to weigh in on that and let us know how you handle it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how at holiday time, couples sometimes accidentally turn that stress into conflict with each other. I think sometimes when we are stressed, we lash out at the people closest to us, and sometimes we express our stress as criticism or control, as we talked about in our last episode. If we get disappointed about something, we tend to get resentful, and we sometimes might give the silent treatment. So some examples of how I see that playing out are somebody saying, oh, you don't care about me and my family, or, why are you so stressed out? Just relax. Or shutting down and being like, fine, do whatever you want. And so just keeping in mind that most holiday fights are about someone's needs not getting met. They're not about bad intentions. And if you can keep that in mind, then you can prevent that stress from turning into a big conflict.
Especially if you think about the fact that those are not things you typically fight about, and then all of a sudden you are. Now, I will bring up one that I found particularly stressful during my holiday season in my previous relationship, was that one is there were a lot of decorations that came out. And then they went everywhere, including the and I'm sorry, Stella, I love you very much. I do. But Huggy Claus is scary, kind of like having a clown.
What is
And a
Santa Claus?
Santa Claus and Huggy Claus has been in that family forever. And Huggy Claus is looking kind of rough around the edges. And when you put
Ooh.
Huggy Claus, first off, Huggy Claus has kind of a camel toe. And if everybody knows what we're talking about,
Is Huggy Claus a doll or what is it? What is Huggy
it's
Claus?
a stuffed Santa. That's a little stuffed Santa. And they want to just prop him up on the couch, stares at you like a bad clown with camel toe.
Nope. Clearly, you've never seen It by Stephen King because that Huggy Claus is going to come kill you in the nighttime.
We never did resolve that issue.
That's why you're not together anymore. Huggy Claus was the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's it. Actually, next time she asks, I'm going to tell her it's Huggy Claus. I love it. Finally, I have a go-to. There's Huggy Claus all along. Okay.
Yep. I have to say that, for a minimalist girl, Christmas can be a little stressful. And when my kids were small, I pulled it all out. I had like the nativity set and all the things. Now they're lucky if they get a tree.
Every ornament too. It's like, oh, I'm like, do we have to have that? Oh no, that one's special.
They're all special.
All special.
That is true. Yep. So that, cluttering up your house can cause some stress, my friends. Huggy Claus. Oh, Lord. All right.
I'm glad they're X-rated on the explicit.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's talk about how what can couples do to holiday proof their relationship? I think you brought up one of the first and most important things, and that is that before you jump into planning, you got to have some kind of conversation about, what matters to each person. And do you have non-negotiables? And if so, what are they? And on the flip side of that, where can you be flexible?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely. Don't see everything as a have to win. Think about whether or not it's worth it. You can't want everything. I mean, not everything can be the most important thing.
Right. Yeah. So you got to pick your battles on this one. Is Huggy Claus the most important thing, or do you want to go see my mother? You can't have both.
I don't know, Huggy Claus. I'm so glad I don't have to see Huggy Claus.
I feel like we're going to have to post a picture of this in our show notes because I'm going to see it myself. Oh. So I think another tool, though, that folks can use is when things start to get hard, don't wait until you're in the throes of it. Like tell your partner early. Like, man, my family's feeling really draining right now. Or, hey, when the holidays come around, I tend to get stressed out about money. So start talking early before you get overwhelmed by it. And this will help you not let it get the best of you.
On the money one, what I have found very helpful in the past has been very effective. It's just sit down with your person and decide how much money you're comfortable spending on one another, or if there are kids involved, on the kids too. If there's travel involved, just decide what your budget is that you both agree to if you're sharing all of those things. Or even if you're not sharing a house, but you're dating somebody and you're going to give gifts, and kind of just having a discussion of, hey, would like to put a limit on this. So talk about it, because it will feel bad if you get the diamond ring and you just gave them a card. It's not so good.
Yes, absolutely. So I do think having those conversations early is super helpful. And on that same note, a third tool that I think couples can use is setting the expectation for those kinds of things. And I want to be clear that these are not ultimatums that you're setting, but like, hey, how long do you think we'll be at your family's house today? Or what's our plan for leaving? Or if you're staying for an extended period of time, like what are the built-in breaks? Can I go for a run, or can I go to the gym, or can I go see a movie in the midst of our, 5 days at your parents' house? So figuring that stuff out up front so you have an expectation about, what's going to happen, I think can be really helpful.
Yeah.
And the fourth tool that I would say can prevent a blow up is making sure that you're protecting your relationship. So that means that you've got people vying for your time, you've got a lot of activities going on, but make sure that your little bubble stays intact. And that might mean something as simple as just have a short daily check-in with each other, or see if you can get a break to go for a walk together or go have a coffee, something that gets the two of you away from the hustle and bustle and just checking in with each other. And most importantly, and I say this so often to my clients, remember that you are on the same team. And when it is a team sport, you want your partner to win. So don't let go of that idea that you both at the end of the day want the same thing.
And it's sort of fun to think about trying to sneak off and be naughty,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's kind of fun to think, and you do it where you're like, okay, I'm going to leave in 15 minutes and I'm going to say I'm going to the grocery store. And then you say you're going to leave like 10 minutes later and you say you're going to go do something and you'll be back. And then we meet up and then we're naughty.
I like it. I think it's a good idea.
Or you have a cup of coffee, but you do just take a time out. And I think it's pretty fun to be mischievous like that.
Yep. I love it. So if things go sideways, or I guess I should say when things go sideways, because they probably will during this period of time, try to just normalize that you're going to have missteps. Things aren't going to go perfectly. So don't expect perfection. And just be like, okay, that happened. And really focus on repair over perfection. So when things go south, focus on how you're going to reconnect rather than getting all bent out of shape because things weren't perfect. And some things that you can say are, hey, that came out wrong. That sounded snappy and I didn't mean to snap at you. Or just owning, like, I'm overwhelmed with my family, or I'm overwhelmed with the holidays. I'm not mad at you. Or just asking your partner for a reset. Can we start that over? It's not going the way I wanted to. So just remembering that repairing matters so much more than trying to win the argument.
Yeah, I think you could also just say, hey, I'm going to go lock myself in the bathroom and I'm going to be in there for like 30 minutes and watching some TikTok videos and I'll be back out in a little bit.
There you go. That one works too. Although, if you're getting on TikTok, it's not going to be 30 minutes. Back out in about 3 hours. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. What are some of the key takeaways that we want our listeners to get from today's episode?
We're sure that holiday stress is normal. It's going to happen. And it's not this big statement on your relationship or that your relationship is failing.
Yes, 100%. I also want you guys to remember that planning ahead beats reacting. So the more you can plan ahead for where you're going to go, how much money you're going to spend, how you're going to extricate yourselves from situations, the more you can plan ahead, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, and boundaries protect connection. And so just making sure that you both respect and honor your time together, and then boundaries about how much you let them, that encroachment on that. And then just also respecting one another's boundaries, need for space, a little air.
Yep, 100%. And as we said before, the repairs matter more than perfection. So if you get off track, it's okay. Just focus on how you're going to repair and how you're going to reconnect with your person. If you and your person want to talk more about this, when we would encourage you to do that, here are some questions that you guys can ask each other. The first one is, what is the hardest part of the holidays for you? And just find out a little
more. Yeah, Huggy Claus.
I already forgot his name. I was going to call him Huggy Santa. So yes, talking about what's most difficult. Also asking your partner, what support do you need from me during this holiday season? And what would make this holiday feel successful, even if it's not perfect? So, holidays don't need to be perfect. They just need to be navigated together.
And they aren't perfect. And folks, I don't know why we've over time, it's like the sugar plum fairy has landed on us. We just, but they never are perfect. And we build this vision of things that just really aren't true.
Yep.
Frankly. So just giving grace, just give grace and then try to be realistic about what to expect from the people around you.
Yes, I think that is a great idea. So we would love to hear your holiday successes and or funny stories or failures if you want to share those with us too. Please send them to us, info@dateableaf.com, or you can find us on Instagram @dateableaf. We love hearing from you, and you might end up in our after party episode. As always, we want to thank you for listening to the Dateable AF podcast, where we help you find your happy ending.
And remember, be bold, be kind, and for the love of queer dating, don't text your ex. Stay dateable.
AF.